She's a brick. House. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. Today we're going to talk about tanks and we'll rank them all for your convenience. So we're going to actually added a couple tanks like IG-11 and Notion Brood Alpha. You guys can let me know if there are other tanks you guys think should be added to this that I just totally missed, but those are the two I thought of. I would be interested to hear what your thoughts are. I've done another infographic. And, they're super fun, obviously. You can find it on my Discord server in the video description if you care to. And, I mean, it's not like this list has, like, a huge amount of, go get this value. But this is good for planning, for trying to decide, all right, I want a plug-and-play tank. I want something that is going to work for me. It's like buying a car. It's like, some people want a big old truck so that they can overcompensate for things. Other people really want a really tiny car so that they don't have to pay for gas because they're cheap. There's all sorts of awesome reasons people buy cars just like those, and we're going to discuss not cars because I don't know anything about cars other than those two specific things, and that's it. We're going to talk about tanks, which I guess kind of sounds like cars, but in reality they're people. They're not actual, when I searched for tanks on Google, I was like, Star Wars tanks. There was just a bunch of droid tanks that, it was really great. It really worked out for me. So anyways, folks, let's get to the actual infographic. If you want this, go to my Discord server. It's in the infographics section in the Discord server. It's really good. It's just the best infographic you could hope for. It really is just... Anyways. Let's, we're zoomed in on the best infographic. So this thing here, let's actually zoom out just a little bit. And yeah, I guess my face is in the way. We can change that though, folks. There we go. Face no longer in the way for now. And so the way this is ranked, folks, it's not going to be just an arbitrary, this has the most hit points, this is the most speed, all that. I'm going to, you can see kind of my criteria just a little bit on the bottom segment. I mean, some of it's just arbitrary, that actually works really well. It's really nice. So we're going to, put it in this rank, but it's based off of how versatile and flexible that specific character is and how effective it is as a tank. So for instance, we have Vander Chewie in that fourth category and B2. I'm not saying that they're bad. They're not bad as characters. Vander Chewie is amazing, and so is B2 in his own way. And Gar is actually pretty good in his own way. If Prime is watching this, and if he's not, then Gar still sucks. But they're good, but they're not tanks exactly. They don't operate as tanks, not yet. Anyways, that's not how it is. And so, they're ranked lower. And other squads, it's Paploo does pretty good on his squad, but Ewoks kind of aren't that good. So, B ranking. Remember, S tier is the highest, and remember that it's some kind of Japanese culture thing that makes us rank them with S. That's what I took from when everyone instructed me on why. I was like, I don't know why S is the top. Everyone was like, they gave me more information than that. They were just essentially, it was something about Japanese culture. It was great. The exclamations and exclamation. You guys, I'm not drunk, I promise. But I am very tired, however. All of the explanations were about as good as this infographic. However, I forgot all of it except for the country of origin. That being said, let's talk about these tanks, folks. So the first one, the number one, the most awesome, is of course Jedi Master Luke. And I should even just point out, guys, all the characters that are actually ranked as tanks, which are, all of these except for Geo Brood Alpha and IG, they're all going to get huge boosts if you get them to Relic 9. This is not a list of characters you should just go put Relic 9 on. They're pretty good, but I wouldn't say you should just go and get Relic 9. However, I would say the first two definitely should. Jedi Master Luke, he's a tank. He has his entire squad does damage based off of his total protection value. He's a galactic legend. Obviously the best tank in the game. I mean, there's no argument there, folks. Unless you want, I mean, I guess you can, but you'll lose. You'll lose, but feel free. Darth Malgus, Relic 9 on him just because he does so much damage with one of his specials based off how much health he has. Otherwise, he taunts sometimes. He facilitates well on his squad, but he is just very, very tanky. And I love the idea that every time you, like, if you try to Zerg him down, you're like, ooh, I'm going to leave him in red. He just hits the reset button and has full health and protection at the start of his next fight. He is very tanky, very tough to deal with. He distributes fear amongst the best of them. It's very cool. Malgus, or Malek, the two Mals on the same squad, folks, and it's not like Mal from Firefly. It's the two guys who might not have chins. We're not sure. Malgus, it's ambiguous. Malachi. Let's just like start adding other things with Mal in there, folks. Malevolence. All right, I gotta stop. Malek, however, is really nice because when he like you can't force the taunt usually. There's not usually a mechanic that's going to work for that. Sometimes it works like that, but for the most part, he just taunts whenever he wants to. He's like, yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and taunt. I mean, there's some ways to do it. You guys can read his kit. I can't read his kit for you right now, and you guys are probably not missing eyes, so you can go read it. The thing is, when he is taunting, and then it forces people to hit him, obviously, at least sometimes. And if they crit him, then they get feared, which is amazing. It's just really cool. And he's really tanky. He can also, I mean, this isn't really the reason I would rank him this high, but he can also, in certain circumstances, especially in 3v3, he can go and just solo entire squads because of how tanky he is, and because of his fear and his armor, all of that stuff. It's great. Just like the infographic. Mace Windu is really great. Just like the infographic. Everything great. He actually is. The thing about Mace Windu, guys, is he's very versatile, right? So yes, he's a good tank. In some ways, he's kind of a weird tank because he has his own version of taunting. I guess I should probably put the Savage Omicron in here. Just assume that Savage is in here and that I ranked him as, you guessed it, great. But here's the thing. Mace Windu has the same type of taunt, and he doesn't need an Omicron to be able to do it. He also, he's good at taunting. He's also very good at, he can deal some damage because of the way his taunt works. He also is able to do ability block, and he hits people back, and he goes on a lot of Jedi squads. It's not just the Jedi Master Kenobi team. It can go on basically all the different Jedi teams. He's very versatile in that regard. He can also, like, if you wanted to, I don't know, it's not probably the very best, but like you could put him on Padme teams as well, like other Galactic Republic and Jedi. Like he's very good. Other than that, I mean, he's just very versatile. He does lots of cool stuff, and he has he's very quotable. You know, he's like, this party's over, and stuff like that. He's the only guy with the purple lightsaber, all of that. General Kenobi, he's CG's favorite. They're like, hey, new marquee character goes with Kenobi. That used to be the running meme. Everyone was like, oh yeah, CG's probably gonna just suggest, like, when a new marquee came out, I don't know how many people remember this, but it used to be like a new marquee would come out and they'd be entirely unrelated to Galactic Republic, and they'd be like, you want General Kenobi, because he was so versatile. He was like the character that I remember when I finally got I got to the point in light side battles on the nodes. And it used to be difficult, guys. It used to be like, yes, I finally 3-starred that. Like, it was a big achievement, actually, back in the day. The only reason I was able to get it initially was because one of my friends, one of my guildmates, had unlocked Kenobi, and it had, he was available on his ally list, so I could use it. It used Kenobi on it. He's obviously he's not like as overpowered anymore, but he is a pilot of a capital ship. He is. He's always, it's just nice. He has so many passive abilities. I think that's the thing that I like the most about him. And he really does. He's plug and play as they come. Yeah, you probably want him on a specific squad for the most part. You want him with Jedi Master Kenobi, or you want him with Padme. You want him on, basically any Jedi team. You can put him on Star Killer. He does a lot of good stuff, guys, and he is still kind of the golden standard for tanks in a lot of ways, because he gives people passive crit immunity, and he gives foresight. He taunts when people are crit. He's very good, guys, if you didn't know. Even great, perhaps. Now, L3 is kind of an odd choice. I've kind of waffled back and forth between that. I don't know how you waffle, but that's what I did. I didn't raffle. Not like rolling on the floor laughing. I don't know what waffling would be, but I kind of did that. L3, alright, so she's not part of any like top tier team, but here's the thing. She is probably, pound for pound, well, especially because she's a droid, so she's probably made of really heavy metals. But she's also, pound for pound, probably one of the best plug-and-play tanks in the game. Just because she dispels her own debuffs, she counters, she puts up her own buff, or her own taunt. She's immune to crits after a while. She actually boosts her own health, and in the right squads with smugglers or scoundrels, she's able to dispel buffs when she gets hit, which a lot of times which is pretty often, considering she's a tank, so people are trying to take her team out through, AoEs or whatever, and she's able to dispel a lot of those things. You can make her very tanky. She's very versatile. She's also quite saucy in the movie, so watch out. She actually is pretty cool, guys. Actually, in fact, I truly do enjoy L3 as a tank. Now, this is Geo Brood Alpha, not to be confused with Geo Spy or Geo Soldier or Poggle or Sunfac or, Geo Rebels character, whatever that thing was called. I forget what it was. I don't think you'll mix them up with the drone, but this is the Geo Brood Alpha, and he is not a tank in reality. But as the Brute and as a plug-and-play character, this is one of my very favorites, because first off, to gear them, it's nice because you get a second tank to go with. You get a second character, so you get a twofer on gear, right? It's nice. But then eventually Geos are going to stop being useful. However, Geo Brood Alpha can continue to stay on your squad as long as you want, or on any squads, just because Geo Brood Alpha is able to have that taunt. And the awesome thing is they have the split health thing. He can resummon a new Brute when the old one dies. But until then, you can dispel buffs. You can taunt, obviously, from the Brute, and that Brute is consistently renewing that taunt because of counters, and doing, whenever it does a basic, he's able to get taunt back on there, and then you can regrow a new one. You have health equalization, so it's tough to take him out. Just really good tank, honestly. I like using him with Sith Eternal. Honestly, that's probably my favorite spot for the Geos right now. Next, we have the Ninth Sister, and I don't know if Ninth Sister really belongs here. I think the reason I want Ninth Sister to be on the top tier list, guys, is just because her health pool is tremendous. Just like her girth, it is just crazy how enormous she truly does How enormous she does. Gosh, I am tired, guys. But here's the thing. Her health pool is massive, and she's a little bit squishy in terms of armor and everything. In the context of Inquisitors, she is incredibly annoying. She just doesn't give up her taunt unless somehow you're able to force it. And I mean, sometimes I guess she'll give it up for a minute, but overall, like the way she's able to just maintain on that squad, and then she also just does AoE days to everyone. That's really good. And then she also is just really strong, even if you don't have Inquisition ready yet. If you have Lord Vader, she goes really nicely on a Lord Vader squad, so she's pretty versatile in terms of that. And, I mean, a lot of people are going to be gearing her up, even if they don't want Inquisition, just because she is good in her own right. Fives is another character. It's like, well, I mean, he's only really in one squad. He is he is a good tank in the in Fleet as well, but I mean, he does some good work. Mr. Fives. He, I mean, you boost him up, and then he gives lots of buffs to his friends. He's mostly good in PvE, to be honest, because people just kill him in PvP really quickly, you know, with negligible squads. But, I mean, at Relic 9, he really does just ramp it up. I kind of think he should go in the next level, but, you know, what's a man to do? I apparently just put him up here. Crew is another one. So he's a great pilot. Obviously, you know, with blood like his, obviously, like his lineage is crazy for pilots, but he is also, I mean, the 2-turn stun is so nice. He can renew his taunt with a basic. He can get another taunt with his 2-turn stun. He gives tenacity down on basic, and he hits back. Not to mention, if you read all of his rules to see, like he is just ridiculously tanky and tough to take out. We put him in the context a lot of times of fighting some of the toughest characters in the game, which makes him kind of seem like he folds really quickly. But he is one of the best plug-and-play tanks in the game because he has a Zeta that gives him pre-taunt. And that 2-turn stun guaranteed is still so strong, guys. It is just very strong. So, you know, his health pool is great. He does a lot of stuff. He can work on a lot of teams. He's very good. Now, we're going to go faster through these other ones, folks. Juhani, I never thought she'd make it this far up the list. And remember, this list is just, she's not the best out of the A's. She's just on A. She's A. It's like Alcoholics Anonymous. It's great. Which I don't need, not for this video, folks. I shouldn't joke about such things. But Juhani, she is great on a Starkiller team in Territory Wars, and that is it. She's not good anywhere else. People like to put her, they're like, hey, I put relics on her. Damn it all, I have to use her in GAC too. I'm like, yes, please do that. She is worthless in GAC. She is so bad. She is the worst tank ever, and yet people put her on that team, and it makes me so happy when they do. It seriously, I'm just like, thank you so much. That is so meaningful to me. And yeah, terrible. Royal Guard is really, really great with Lord Vader. And that's it. That's why he's an A. He's not versatile, really. He is amazing with Lord Vader. Can't ask for a better tank with Lord Vader. You put him with any other character out there, and sure, he taunts. He's like, yeah, sure, I'm taunting. What do you want? What do you want from me? And that's it. Like, he doesn't do much. His rework made him okay. I mean, he's an A. He's not a B. Chrysanthemum, I'm not sure yet, guys. Jabba has kicked my butt lately. Jabba's been so good. And honestly, Chrysanthemum is a huge part of that. He just won't give up his taunt. He is obnoxious as hell. And I do think he probably needs high relic levels, though, is my guess, in order to be truly great. And I don't know, like his disarm thing seems okay. You know, that it's fine. I'm not sure yet. I just don't think he's going to be that versatile. We'll see. Once we get Afra, maybe Afra is going to want to pull Chrysanthemum over to her side or something like that. I don't really know. But right now, you know, he's part of the hot new GL, and he's pretty good. But, yeah. Scion is fun. He can regrow his banners. He is tough to kill if you put enough relics and armor on him. And, he dispels with his AoE. He does a lot of cool stuff. He adds to the Sith Triumvirate, which is already very tanky, and he does a lot of cool stuff. He keeps getting, like, once you get his cool buff, the win condition, it's a good one. He's part of a good squad. He's not there plug and play, however. That's probably the biggest thing to condemn him. Bosk, I have him at Relic 9, and I think that's my only Relic 9 that I really regret. Honestly, guys, I got him 9 because I thought that he could withstand a barrage from Relic 9 Maul. Well, that was false. He just dies if people have modded him accurately. But he, in the context of bounty hunters, he does perform very, very well. He facilitates that team getting a ton of turn meter if you put Mandalorian with him, just because Mandalorian's going to continuously hit and give everyone lots of turn meter, because because turn meter is the thing. And I don't know, like he is very tanky. As a leader, he's very good. He's a tank leader, and he doesn't quit, guys. Once he runs out of protection, he just dies instantly. But you'll have that. Magna Guard is another one who's very good in the context of his just single squad. He's the one tank, really, realistically, on a General Grievous squad, and he has a dispel. He has an AoE, so that it helps that turn meter stuff. He gives turn meter, and he is very tanky. In fact, you can give him lots of tenacity and make it so that he's tough to deal with. He's quite good. Sith Empire Trooper, I should say, is very plug and play. He's a pre-taunt. He does a lot of cool stuff. However, it's like, hey, you have other abilities, right? And he's like, what? I never get to use them. Like, when was the last time you saw him counter attack? Like, I have the Datacron right now. It's like, whenever he attacks out of turn, he does more damage. It's like, I don't think I've seen him attack out of turn for a very long time, but he is very tanky. Like, plug and play for all the different Sith out there. Really good stuff, honestly. And he, yeah, he's the original Sith Empire Trooper. So, I mean, he was just the Sith Trooper for a while, and then Red Trooper took over that title. Now, we have Baze, who is also a pre-taunt. He is good on the AdRad team. He also gains a lot of turn meter whenever his opponents have gained buffs. He's good. He has 2 dispels, which is really nice. He actually does a decent amount of damage on the AdRad team. He does % health damage on one of his attacks, and he has a counter. He has good synergy with Chirrut, and with the AdRad team, I think, people are going to start using that more and more on offense, I think, and he is right in the mix. First Order Stormtrooper. Oh no, this is just normal Stormtrooper. He's pretty good. He goes well with Iden. He goes well with a few different comps. He's just, honestly, pound for pound, he's probably the best Empire tank out there. Zalbar is really nice because he has a passive taunt, which is very nice. He doesn't need mission. It's nice to have mission there, but he doesn't need mission. I like him. I put him up to Relic 5 on my main just because he is versatile like that, and he'll take a lot of hits, and he doesn't need to taunt to be able to be worthwhile. He does armor shred and everything, but like he passively taunts is what I'm saying. He doesn't need to have his turn in order to taunt, which is the valuable aspect. Now, we also have Wrecker here. He can tank a whirlwind from Rey, which is really nice. He's very, very thick. He facilitates a lot for the team that he's on, but only for the team that he's on for the most part. Now, the reason he would be in the A category instead of the B is he also can fit into like a Padme squad, or sometimes I'll use him on a General Kenobi squad, Jedi Master Kenobi squad as the tank, just because he's going to be able to, fill in that role. Like Jedi Master Kenobi, the biggest secret, best kept secret is you don't actually need Jedi for his team. Obviously he is, but you don't need to run him with just Jedi. You can run him with purely other characters from Galactic Republic. So he's good there. Shore Trooper, I don't know if he should really go up top. I love pre-taunts. Pre-taunts are really nice, and I don't know, the pre-taunt and the fact that he can give his entire squad not only heal their health, but also give them crit damage immunity is really nice. Not to mention he can taunt himself, and he gives turn meter to everyone as well. He does some good stuff. He's pretty good. I mean, it used to be like you get a 3-star shore trooper, and it was like, man, that's pretty tanky. That dude's super thick. IG 11 is really versatile just because of right now the debuff heavy meta that's going on right now. He's very reactive, very responsive to the Lord Vader squad, and yeah, he just does a lot of cool stuff for his whole team. He dispels whenever he starts. He's passively dispelling, I should say. He works on a sortie squad. He works really well with Kuil on other squads. He's very thick. He can also tank Array Whirlwind. You can get him up to some pretty obscene health numbers, actually, guys. He's actually a healer, though. That's why it's weird to have him on this list, because he's not actually a tank. He's a healer, but he has a pre-taunt and all of that, so may as well just let him in on it, folks. He's a healer because he sprayed that stuff on Mandalorian's face. Take that out of context. Zombie's also A level just because, I mean, you need the tandem of Zombie plus another Night Sister, probably Old Daka, but Zombie does some serious work here, folks. Zombie's pretty amazing, in fact. Just because she never dies. Never dies. Alright, B level. Alright, Holdo does okay on Array team, but is the first one to be replaced. Cara Dune is like, well, she'll taunt sometimes, depending on who she's affiliated with. It's kind of nice to have a little bit of thickness, but B level, I mean, okay, whatever. Jedi Training Rey is weird, just because she does taunt sometimes with Finn helping her, or if you put her on a weirdo team with, like, Jedi Training Rey and Watt and someone else, then sometimes he'll hand her the taunt, and then she's taunting. She's a tank. She does okay in those contexts. That's not her primary role, so she gets a B for that. She does okay as a tank. She's just not the primary tank. Stormtrooper Han, man, if he had a way to keep his personal taunt, it would be really great. It doesn't work with Watt, however, and therefore he's relegated here unless he goes with Akbar, in which case he's a little bit better. Plo Koon is better known for being able to dispel things, and for Plo jobs, he's okay. Peplu, he's on a bad team. He's a good tank on a bad team. K2, it's like, you know what? He's okay on Adrad team now, I guess. First Order Stormtrooper, he's like, you're like, oh, are you going to bring a second tank? The answer is never, oh, should I bring crew as well? The answer is always like, oh, I should bring Stormtrooper, First Order Stormtrooper. Sure, no one's using him. We were just going to leave him unused anyways. That puts him at B status. Old Ben, sure, he has the double taunt, and you dispel it. He still sticks around. He's okay, but how many times has he been the last one to die on your squads? You're like, good job taunting, bud. Sunfac, it's like he's the only tank in the game who doesn't want to taunt. He's like, I don't want to taunt. Don't hit me. Hit the brute. Wait, you're a tank? You guys, that's self-explanatory. It's like Tebow? Why? Zeb? Gar? OG Plo? Or Poe? Poe and Plo. I mean, all these guys, it's like, what? You're tanks? I guess, like this guy does taunt and everything. Finn? But whatever. And then these guys are all just pretty garbage, honestly. I mean, Scared Rebel Pathfinder has some good aspects, especially now on a Radis team. I mean, all those tanks from Rogue One, it's like, they're all so tanky, and yet they couldn't tank a Death Star, so what the hell? But, yeah, like Scared Rebel Pathfinder, sure, he's useful in, fleets, or used to be, and no longer, because he can't really do anything. That ship can't do anything with profundity, which is very sad. You had to waste like 12 Carbanti to get there, but he's okay. He does Scared Rebel Pathfinder things, but he has to taunt in order to. He has to actually have a turn in order to taunt, and he's slow, and in this day and age of pre-taunts, like, he's just gets left out. The Jawas all just kind of suck, so Nebbit kind of sucks because he's got that old school stat line as well. I mean, sure, Jawas are fun, but whatever. Make him a neutral faction CG. Gamorrean Guard is still just kind of crappy. He might end up being okay at some point if he's good he's good in a raid, in territory battles, I forget, but his new stuff didn't really help him that much. Kanan, man, I really want him to be good. I would love it to be good, but again, he has to. All these guys have to taunt themselves to be able to tank, and he's just not that good. Elf Jedi, again, like what would you say you do here? Like I sometimes will put her or Clone Wars Chewie on my Jedi Master Kenobi team just because I need a tank at all. They're not that great, but they're Galactic Republic, and that's about it. So, anyways, folks, that's the list. Let me know what your thoughts are, and what did I miss? Who deserves to be higher or lower on this list? Would love to hear what your thoughts are. Thank you so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.